Hey guys, welcome back to the Simple Car Guy channel. Today we're taking a look at the ThinkScan Plus S7. This is the little brother to the ThinkTool Mini, which I reviewed a few months ago, and it still remains my favorite scanner to date. In this video, we will see if we can get similar functionality out of this little device and what it offers as far as special functionality and module scanning on manufacturer level. First, let's take a quick look at what comes in the box and the unit itself. So, the box, very elegantly designed, nothing really special. You got the name, the model, the picture of the device, nothing on this side, some information on this side. Let's take a quick look. So this is the S7, as I mentioned. There's also S5, I believe, so it's slightly different. Make sure you are, getting the correct item. 5-inch LCD screen, resolution 854 by 480. The voltage, a little bit more information on there. All right, let's look at the back here. We have what makes this a professional diagnostics tool. So we have the full OBD2 diagnostic functionality, of course, multi-system support for co-reading and clearing. So this is where you actually read actual modules, vehicle-specific codes. So that's cool. You can get software for maintenance and services. We'll dive much deeper into that. Diagnostic that covers pretty much any vehicle after 1996, but of course check to make sure your car's on the list. And 5-inch LCD. And what makes this the S7 and not the S5 is that you get free 5 optional software applications, and I'll go much deeper into that to see to show you what it actually means. But yeah, that's about it for the box. In the box you get your manual. Manual is actually only a few pages long, so it's about, I don't know, 15 pages long. It shows you basic functionality. The rest is just different languages, and it is written really well. Get your USB cable. Now let's take a look at the device itself. Oh yes, beautiful screen. Good quality, no problems there. You have rubberized coating on the outside and nice handle to hold on to, so you can work with one hand while holding it firmly in the other. The cable is about 5 feet long and is not detachable, it is permanently attached. You have some I/O stuff on the side here. So you got the USB port and micro SD card expansion. A little bit of information on the back, but nothing special here. We can see that this unit is ergonomically very functional and sits well in the hand. But how is the software side of things? Well, the unit takes about a minute or so to boot up since it runs Android 7 and does not have a large built-in battery. But once it's up and running, it runs smoothly. The UI is nicely designed and presented and has everything laid out on one screen. No need for scrolling or looking for different menus. It also gives you an overview of what this device can do. On the left here, we have the scan menu item, which does the advanced module scanning. The next item is OBD, which is the standard OBD2 functionality and the generic PID or sensor data. Then we have the maintenance and service, which gets interesting. You get 5 service functions included for free out of the 28 available, and you get to pick which ones you'd like to download. More on that later. Right below that, we have ThinkFile, which is the storage folder where you can open screenshots, screen recordings, and PDFs saved to the device. Moving to the right side, we have the Think Store, where you can buy additional functionality. Update button allows you to update all of the apps as well as the device itself, which I do recommend doing before using. It's very simple as long as you're connected to the Wi-Fi. Speaking of Wi-Fi, you can go to the settings menu and set up your Wi-Fi as well as many other useful items. Now let's dig into the scan function and see what it can do. Now this scanner cannot scan all of the modules on your car. It is limited to 7 more popular modules, which include the ECM, TCM, ABS, SRS, BCM, AC, and IC systems. If you'd like to see more details on what those are exactly, you can see them in the description below. Alright, so once it loads, you have 2 different options. You have automatically search or manual select. In manual select, you just simply get to select which car you have, or you can go to automatically search and it will pick the car that you are in. All right, so that's my car right there. I'm gonna click next, and then you have two different options once it loads. You have health report and system scan. This health report is extremely helpful if you're working on other people's cars. You can have them scan a QR code and they will have a full report on their phones in seconds. I mean, how cool is that? You don't have to print anything out or send in PDFs, nothing. They just scan a QR code and it's done. And there you go. You have the QR code and they can just scan it and they will have all of this information on their phone in seconds. I think that's really, really cool. And you can of course send it to an email as well if for some reason they don't have a smartphone or something like that. All right, now let's do the system scan. So it's going to scan all of the modules that are allowed by this device, which is the 7 systems that I mentioned earlier. If you do need a scanner that will scan all of those modules and not just the most popular ones, this may not be the scanner for you. But you know, the price kind of reflects that as well. And the cool thing here is that if the subsystem has more than one module, such as on this car, ECM has actually two. So we have two DME controllers on this car. This will scan both of them, not just one or the other, because I've seen some systems that kind of restricted just to one or two. This one will scan everything. And you can see it's still like 28 different modules that the car has scanned. Like I said, may not be all of them, but definitely enough. All right, so what can we do with these? Let's log in into one and kind of check it out. So we'll do, as an example, instrument cluster. We will see all the information on the actual module. So you have the ECU identity, release. Sometimes you have serial numbers, things like that. Click continue. And here we can read the fault codes. These are going to be module and vehicle specific. So these will be BMW specific codes. You can also clear those codes. And the most important part here is that you can read data, live data. So these are going to be the sensors and things directly from the module, not OBD2 generic PID codes, which is I mean, obviously a big deal. And you can see all this kind of information in here. So fuel levels and all that stuff, right? Click OK, and of course you can create a report based on this. You can compare different sample ranges, you can combine them all, you can graph it. I mean, this is a very capable device, so I mean, obviously there's not much to see right now because the car is not running, but we can, you know, select a couple and then graph those, or a couple and then, okay. And it will graph the two of them on the screen at the same time. Okay, so this is what you can do in the scan functions. Obviously, you can do the same exact thing on all of the modules that are available in here. So we can do the same for the engine one. Obviously, you have your information here. Click continue. You can read fault codes. This car doesn't have any at this time, but you can also read the data, diagnostics requests. So you have all of this data that is available to you that normally would not be. So to be clear, if you have a scanner that does not read BMW specific modules, this will not show up in there. And which vehicles are supported? Well, basically anything you can think of. So it's going to be these American ones, European, Asian. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And you can, of course, upgrade them as well whenever new stuff comes out. All right, the next option in here is OBD. So this will be the generic OBD2 scanning functionality. I'm not going to show you much on here just because it's pretty much the same as any other, you know, OBD2 scanner. Very important to have, but nothing special. Okay, as you can see, you have your standard IM readiness to show you if the car will pass emissions. Ready, not supported. So standard stuff, you can create a report out of that as well. You have your live data, so the live PIDs that are presented by standard OBD2 port and transfer. Okay, let's get out of here. Back at the main menu, let's check out maintenance and services. This one's going to be interesting just because it's different from all the other ones that I have used. Normally you get 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever special functions, but you don't get to choose what those are. So a lot of times they're the ones that you don't really need. In this case, you get to pick 5 that work best for you. So you have your AF reset, ABS bleeding, airbag reset, battery matching, coolant bleed, EGR adaptation, electronic throttle relearn. So I think there's 28 different functionalities that you can pick from, and you get to pick 5 of them. So you can have the injector adjustments, oil maintenance reset, seat calibrations, all of this stuff, Windows calibration. So this is very cool. I mean, I think it's very cool. And you get to pick the 5 that you actually need. Now, if you need more of them and you'd like to have all of them, they are, I believe, $29.99 a year per function. So let me pick one. We'll do battery matching, and I'll do free obtain. Okay, we cannot change it, so we have 4 left. Okay. So now that shows up in my menu. I wanted to do it live for you guys. You see how quick it was. Don't have to do anything else. I can just go in here now and launch it. And now we'll be able to program a battery on my BMW. How cool is that? And of course, you have 4 more to pick. And you don't have to pick them at the same time. You can just pick them one at a time as you need them. Okay, so let's actually use this function. I'm not going to go all the way through just because my battery has not been replaced, but I wanted to show you that you can get it and it works right away. Another really cool thing that I like about the scanner is that it has the 12.4 volts, so you have the voltage always displayed. This way you don't run down your battery while playing around like I do with these devices on the car, almost on a daily basis, or if you're working on something and having a difficult troubleshooting session, your battery's not going to die, and you can actually start the car after. Some of the negatives while we wait for this to load, well, you have to pay additional money for additional functionality on a yearly basis. So that's kind of not, ideal, but of course, that's why the device is cheaper. It also does not offer actuation testing or true bidirectional functionality. Other than the special functions that we have, these are, bidirectional, like I said, up to 28, and you get 5 for free. But as far as actuation tests for each module, you don't have that. You will have to upgrade to the ThinkTool Mini for that. All right, so register battery exchange. Let's see what it does. So we see we can check out readings when the last time the battery has been replaced, register battery exchange, and kind of the history of the last exchange. Okay, so they delete the last history. Okay, well, we're not gonna delete my delete the history or register a battery exchange since it hasn't been done, but I do want to see when it was done actually. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, so you have your information. It says when it was last exchanged at 20, it looks like 25,000 kilometers. The car has about 75,000 now, so it's been a long time. And you can actually see what kind of battery you need. So it's a 105 amp battery as far as I understand. So, okay, let's return to the selection. And we can, of course, re-register the battery, but we're not going to do that right now. Okay, but I think you guys get the idea. You get to select 5 free special functions out of 28 available. And these, of course, will work on all of the cars that this device supports. Of course, if you go back and you go back in here, it's going to pop up and say you still have 4 left, so you can obtain more of them. I'm not going to do that at this time just because, well, I'm not really sure which ones I'm going to need next. So I'll just keep that in mind for when I use it next. I'll get the one I need. In the settings, not too much to see here. You can turn on and turn off screenshots, figure out the network brightness, units of measure, language, time zone, all that kind of stuff. And you can, of course, clear all of the data if you decide to sell it and reset the device as well. You also have a couple options here at the top. So you have the screen recorder, shows up in there. You press record, it's going to record and save to Think file. You also have a screenshot, so you just press it and it's going to take a screenshot for you, and then you can flip the screen, just in case you're working upside down or you're a lefty or something like that. Well, guys, I think that's about it for this device. If you need more functionality out of your scanner, I urge you to check out the ThinkTool Mini review. as a lot of the items will be the same, but with added functionality and of course added cost. But this one, you can check out the links in the description if you'd like to purchase one yourself. I think it's a pretty cool device with just a couple negatives, the yearly cost if you choose to select more maintenance items. But in general, solidly built, well designed. And another cool thing that I like is that it doesn't shut off the device right away as soon as you unplug it. So I just unplugged it from the car, and look at that, it's telling you, hey, before we turn it off completely, you have a couple seconds to plug it back in. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.